Hey guys, so I'm going to show you some of the alternative or unconventional methods to create, and I've put out a few things, including a cup of coffee with a toothbrush in it, a box, a cereal box, my sketchbook. I've already put some coffee on there, some chalk, and some more colored pencils. So let's get started. All right, so let's start with coffee. The stronger the coffee, the better it will work. So I know you might have a paintbrush, but I have a toothbrush here, which will work similarly, okay? And you literally just brush it on there. So I already put some on there earlier, and you can see how there is a transition in value. This is great for background. It might potentially work for more detailed things, but experiment with it first. Don't use it without trying it first. Obviously, if you let the coffee bunch up into what looks like little puddles, it'll dry darker. It will bleed through the paper, so if there's something underneath it, it could potentially harm that. So just make sure you put something underneath, like a piece of plastic or another piece of paper. But it really is a cool way to add value to the background and keep your background simple. Plus it smells good. So there's the coffee. There's the coffee on the paper. I also have coffee on a paper towel. And then I put coffee on the cardboard, which you can guess, it just makes the cardboard, just changes the texture of the cardboard, but still is pretty cool and smells really great. It's really gonna work better on white surfaces such as white paper or a paper towel. All right, so let's talk about cardboard since I just showed you that. So this is the one that had coffee on it. Obviously, if you keep layering, it will get darker. But what I did on this piece of cardboard is I started to rip off pieces of the cardboard. So let me show you really quickly how that would work. You just have to very gently, and I'll put it back in the frame, okay? So you're pulling that off. You can strategically pull it off or do it randomly, and then draw on the flat surface that you see remaining, right? So you could potentially, get that in the camera there, okay? The texture itself is really awesome. When you draw lines on it, it's bumpy, so it does create some imperfections, which I hope that you're embracing. So as I showed you the cardboard, this is what I just put on there, and you just rip off. You don't have to rip off the whole thing, but it really is a cool way to add texture to your work. And then obviously paper bags. When you go to the grocery store, most grocery stores will have paper bags. And I'm gonna use some chalk on there. And the grocery store, there we go. Okay, so I created a value just by releasing pressure like we did with our pencil. The great thing about paper bags is that most grocery stores should be able to give them to you for free. The next time you go to a store with a family member, a grown-up, ask them if they can give you a couple extra paper bags. If they won't, then try somewhere else, because usually they should. They're pretty awesome to draw onto. You can see how bright and vibrant the chalk is. All right, continuing with this surface. So I'm gonna use a dry erase marker, okay? And I'm just gonna do just a little, again, this is practice. I would practice before you do any of this. And it works pretty vibrantly on paper bags too, so that might be a go-to for many of you because you should be able to get them for free. And then putting Sharpie on there as well. You may not have a Sharpie, but they make really cool thicker Sharpies. They're called King Sharpies, and they make really thick lines. For obvious reasons, there is the regular old Sharpie that many of you are familiar with that you don't have to have, but could potentially bring into your arsenal of art supplies, okay? With the colored pencils, the more variety you have, the better to create different values. So I have 3 different values here. I probably could choose, let me look in here, one more blue. And I'm gonna go with this one right here, okay? And I'm going to just do some shading here on the paper bag. And again, it's really vibrant, and I love how vibrant it is on there. I have a feeling some of you may be saying, I'm gonna get a paper bag because it just looks so cool and vibrant. I mean, it looks the same on a piece of paper, right? But I just like how different it is because we use white paper all the time, right? Why not use a paper bag and experiment with the different ways that you can add color with it, okay? One last thing with chalk. So with chalk, you could potentially crush it. So you'd put it in a bag and like hammer it and make it into a fine powder and use your fingers and draw with it. You could, it just looks so cool in here, right? You could potentially add like baking soda and what's called like an acrylic gel medium. That stuff you have to buy extra, otherwise I would have made it today, but it turns it into paint, right? So you're gonna get art supplies, hopefully soon, but in the meantime, using things like sidewalk chalk, colored pencils, dry erase markers, which you may have because maybe it was a supply teacher asked you for. Coffee smells really great. If this is dry enough, I can show you. It's not dry enough, but still creates really cool texture, which could be really great for a background or for a face. Sharpie, there's a lot of great Sharpies out there. Toothbrushes you might have lying around the house, and that's something you don't have to go buy, and then using it with coffee. Tea works as well. Cutting up old boxes, Amazon boxes around here. Regular old pens, so just a regular old black pen would work fine too. And again, I keep going to this plastic bag because it just is really interesting and different, and I'm hoping that that challenge intrigues you and that you want to try more, okay? If you have any questions, please let me know, but let's figure out what we're going to use for the next project. If you take the cereal box real quickly, sorry, the inside of the cereal box, you could use the plastic, or you could use just the cardboard itself. Potentially, if you still have cereal in the box, take the bag out and then cut the box, but you can make it work for you however you want to. I'm curious to know what questions you have, so please go ahead and post them in the chat. And then if you want to see more, I will make more videos. Videos are a little bit easier, so I'm not distracted by my wonderful noisy children. And I hope this helps you see a little more of the things that you could potentially use within your home.